As Laos is located in the center surrounded by major economies, making it an attractive place to invest. The Trade Minister of New Zealand, Todd McClay, was speaking to our LNTV English news team, saying, New Zealand and the Lao government needs to work together in finding ways to encourage New Zealand people and businesses to come invest in Laos, as well as to cooperate in various areas.
I had an opportunity to talk with my ministerial colleagues from the ASEAN countries about the need for us to look for ways to further integrate our economies, to find ways to bring down some of the barriers, to reach agreement both in the RCEP negotiation, but to further the ability of the agreement that exists between Australia, New Zealand and ASEAN.
The New Zealand Trade Minister, Todd McClay, was in Laos taking part in the 48th AEM meeting and related meetings hosted by Laos in Vientiane.
New Zealand views itself as a
Speaking to our LNTV English news team, Minister Todd McClay said, as Laos is located in the center surrounding by major economies, making it an attractive place to invest, New Zealand and the Lao government need to work together in finding ways to encourage New Zealand people and businesses to come invest in Laos, as well as to cooperate in various areas.
I think there is a lot of potential to grow the two-way trade relationship between Laos and New Zealand. This is my first visit here and I see a huge amount of opportunity. We need to find better ways to get New Zealand people and New Zealand businesses to look towards Laos as a place that they can invest and they can create jobs through manufacturing and trade. Laos sits at the centre of a number of very large economies, some of whom we trade with a lot more. And so I think you're very well placed both to attract New Zealand investment, but for us to find greater ways for imports and exports to flow between the two countries. Importantly, that Laos is attracting and hosting a number of international meetings this year is significant. Our Prime Minister will visit Laos in a few months' time, and that will be an opportunity for us to further consider ways that the two governments can encourage our citizens to find ways to cooperate more with each other. But again,
in terms of investment, it is certain that Laos has potentials in a variety of areas. New Zealand government does not specify to their investors which area they should invest, but rather help building up investment framework in order to facilitate their attempt of doing business in Laos. Moreover, the New Zealand government helps promoting and informing the current development situation in Laos to the New Zealand people and businesses so that they know about the country and would be able to figure out investment opportunities for themselves.
Exploit the opportunities of the AEC.
Well, there has been progress made, but negotiations when they include 16 countries will always take some time.
In the area of Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP, he added that there has been some good progress made, while the negotiation to include 16 countries into this cooperation should take some time, as the 16 countries to be included in the RCEP differ, ranging from development as well as trade agreement with each other.
New Zealand has agreements with a number of these countries already, but there are others that we don't. So it's important this week in Laos that we continue to make progress. This is about ministers setting very clear direction to our officials and our negotiators of the next steps that we want them to take. And in everything we do, it's important we focus on there being very high levels of ambition. The higher quality the RCEP agreement is, the more opportunity it will offer to all of the countries, to their companies, and therefore directly to the people of the RCEP countries.
Economic ministers from ASEAN, Australia, and New Zealand met at the 21st AEM CER consultations that were co-chaired by Mrs. Kemani Ponsena, Industry and Commerce Minister of Laos Stephen Sobo, Trade, Tourism and Investment Minister of Australia, and Todd McClay, Trade Minister of New Zealand. The ministers of ASEAN, Australia, and New Zealand discussed the new AEC Blueprint 2025, which envisages an AEC by 2025 that is highly integrated and cohesive, competitive, innovative, and dynamic, with enhanced connectivity and sectorial cooperation, a more resilient, inclusive, and people-oriented, people-centered community, and integrated with the global economy.
Continues, we can see that there are...
The statement noted that Australia and New Zealand are supporting the AEC in practical ways, including through the implementation of the ASEAN-Australia-New Zealand FTA, or AANZ FTA, and its Economic Cooperation Support Program.
We have the AANZ FTA agreement that continues to be implemented. It's making very, very good progress, and really we agreed to find ways to further help with this integration of some of the trade work that we do together. Particularly, we agreed that we want to focus on non-tariff barriers. So these are all of the things that companies can face that don't have to do with a tariff rate, and to find ways to lessen some of these so that businesses can cooperate and build relationships and trade more with each other.
They endorsed the terms of reference of the General Review and encouraged officials to deliver recommendations by 2018, which would take into account developments in the broader regional economic agenda, including the AEC Blueprint 2025 and the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP, negotiations.